The restaurant was quiet that evening, filled with soft music and golden light. A little girl sat at a corner table, her legs swinging beneath the chair, her eyes wide with wonder. Across from her, a man in a dark suit kept checking his watch. He looked like someone who had forgotten how to smile. The waitress whispered, "Sir, will the lady be joining soon?" He nodded, pretending confidence. "She will." But he wasn't sure anymore. Before I tell you what happened next, like, comment, and share Kindness Valley. And tell me, where are you watching from? The man's name was Ethan, CEO, widower, known for being strong in boardrooms, silent in grief. His daughter, Lily, was 6, small, curious, and full of questions he never knew how to answer. Tonight wasn't just a dinner. It was his first blind date in years. His assistant had set it up, thinking maybe it was time. But when the woman didn't show up at first, Ethan sighed in quiet relief. Maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe his heart was still behind that hospital door where his wife had taken her last breath. Then, the restaurant door opened. A woman rushed in, rain dripping from her hair, holding her breath as if she'd run a mile. She looked out of place. Simple dress, worn shoes, eyes that held both exhaustion and grace. The host led her to their table. "I'm sorry I'm late," she said softly. "The bus broke down." Ethan looked up, ready to offer a polite smile, but before he could, Lily tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered, pointing at the woman. "She looks like Mommy." The table froze. The woman's face softened with surprise, and something unreadable flickered in her eyes. Pain, recognition, maybe even guilt. Ethan forced a smile. "Sweetheart, that's not..." But Lily wasn't listening. She was staring, almost mesmerized. The woman cleared her throat. "I'm Clara." Her voice trembled. Ethan nodded. "Ethan, and this is my daughter, Lily." For a few minutes, silence became their company. Forks clinked. Distant laughter from other tables filled the space between them. Clara's hands shook as she reached for her glass. She looked like someone who had learned to stay quiet in order to survive. "So, what do you do, Clara?" Ethan asked. "I used to teach," she said, eyes downcast. "Now I clean houses. It pays the bills." He hesitated. The answer wasn't what he expected, but there was no pity in her tone, only dignity. Lily suddenly spoke again. "Daddy, she even smiles like Mommy." Ethan felt something shift inside him, an ache he'd buried years ago. He glanced at Clara more closely now. Maybe it wasn't the resemblance. Maybe it was the warmth, the softness, the way she looked at Lily like she mattered. As the evening went on, Clara told small stories about teaching kids who couldn't afford books, about fixing her neighbor's window with her last few coins. Ethan listened quietly. Each word she spoke made the noise in his head fade a little more. Halfway through dinner, Lily asked the question that made everyone stop again. "Do you have a daughter?" Clara's eyes shimmered. "I did," she said quietly. "She passed away 3 years ago." The table fell silent. The restaurant's music felt suddenly far away. Ethan didn't know what to say, but Lily reached across the table and held Clara's hand, small fingers wrapping around hers. "It's okay," Lily whispered. "Mommy is in heaven too." Tears slipped down Clara's cheeks. Not the kind that begged for attention, the kind that came from remembering love. 20 seconds into that silence, the camera of life seemed to zoom out. A CEO, a poor mother, and a child who somehow understood them both. Before I go on, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley if stories like this touch your heart. Ethan's world had been full of walls, boardrooms, bodyguards, meetings. But sitting across from this woman, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Humility. Clara didn't talk about success. She talked about survival, about kindness, about how people still mattered more than money. When the bill came, Ethan reached for his card. But the waiter hesitated. Clara had already paid, with a few worn bills she'd quietly placed earlier. "I know it's your table," she said softly. "But tonight I wanted to thank you for listening." Ethan stared at her, speechless. CEOs weren't used to being humbled. Yet in that moment he felt smaller, and somehow freer than he had in years. As they stepped out into the rainy night, Lily ran ahead, spinning under the streetlight. Clara bent down to tie her shoe, her fingers gentle and sure. Ethan watched her, That simple act, and something inside him healed a little. "Would you like a ride home?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "No, thank you. I'll take the bus. Some of us still like the long way home." He didn't insist. He just nodded. And as she walked away, he realized he hadn't looked at his watch once since she'd arrived. Later that night, Lily was half asleep in the back seat. She murmured softly, "Daddy, you smiled today." Ethan looked in the mirror, and for the first time in years, the reflection didn't look tired. It looked alive. He whispered to himself, maybe that's what healing looks like. Not a second chance at love, but a reminder of it. Weeks passed. Clara never asked for anything. No calls, no favors, just a thank you text that said, "Tell Lily she reminds me of my little girl. She has her light." Ethan kept that message, not because of romance, but because of what it taught him, that the heart remembers kindness long after beauty fades. And every now and then, Lily would still say at breakfast, "Daddy, when will we see the lady who looked like Mommy again?" Ethan would smile gently, "Someday, sweetheart. Some people never really leave. They just show up to remind us what love means." The camera fades on that moment, the soft morning light. A cup of coffee, a father learning to live again. Moral, sometimes strangers are sent to finish the healing love once began. The world doesn't need perfect people, only gentle ones who remind us how to feel human again. If this story moved you, like, comment, and share your thoughts below. And subscribe to Kindness Valley for more untold stories.